You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports. My goodness, I'm starting to feel like we could start a channel dedicated to Deshaun Watson and all of his absolutely deplorable acts that he may have committed involving what is said to be, by the New York Times, more than 100 women, of which they absolutely nailed down and confirmed 66 of them. 66. He's got 24 civil complaints against him right now. Civil lawsuits going on. By the way, there are 24 separate lawsuits that he's got to get through. And, of course, in the back of our mind, when we hear all of this stuff, when we see all this stuff, we're thinking, how in the hell did Harris County down in Houston, how did they not indict Deshaun Watson criminally on any of these charges? How did that happen? Well, the victim's attorney is speaking out. He's speaking out against Harris County, and he is saying that, look, he's basically saying the county, the DA, hooked up with Rusty Hardin, and they did Deshaun Watson a solid here. I told you that didn't smell right from the beginning. By the way, the feeling inside the Browns front office right now, word has it, off the record, speculation, little buyer's remorse going on right now. You get exactly what you deserve for having fucked Baker Mayfield. Let's be real. You get what you deserve for having done that to Baker. There was no reason you ever should have pursued this quarterback, especially under the circumstances. The Cleveland Browns may have just absolutely ruined their franchise when they were on the right track for the first time in God knows how long. So, let's get to this, because the victim's attorney is speaking out, and he's making it clear Harris County did not want to work with him or the victims. For lack of a better way of putting it, they didn't give a F what the victims really had to say and or the evidence that Tony Buzbee had. This is crazy. This is for Florio. This case gets more repugnant, more vile by the day. And I'm going to say it, in light of what has come out with 66 confirmed women, Roger Goodell, NFL, are you really going to ever let this guy take another snap in the NFL? Are you really going to let this guy walk onto an NFL field and represent a team, be a face of a team? You're going to let this guy... Look, 1 year is not enough. 2 years, like Trevor Bauer, is not enough. It's my contention this guy should never take another NFL snap. There is something very wrong with this guy. Very wrong. Tony Buzbee feels, quote, duped by news of regular contact between prosecutors and Deshaun Watson's lawyer. I mean, this just keeps getting nuttier and nuttier. Tuesday's article from Jenny Varentis of the New York Times takes an unprecedented look at the extent to which Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, communicated with Harris County, Texas prosecutors regarding the investigation and eventual grand jury proceedings arising from criminal complaints against Watson. Based on the information obtained by public records request, Varentis writes that Hardin commenced a, quote, regular dialogue with Assistant District Attorney Jonna Stallings in early 2022. According to Varentis, Stallings and Hardin, quote, met at Hardin's office, spoke over the phone 12 times, and exchanged more than 24 text messages in 2 months before 10 criminal complaints were presented to a pair of grand juries in Texas. Hardin called it, quote, standard practice for criminal defense lawyers to work directly with prosecutors. Absolutely, that is a fact. The Harris County District Attorney's Office did not respond to specific questions for Varentes about the communications. Hardin, per Varentes, quote, created a slide presentation arguing Watson's innocence and gave it to Stallings along with other documents he deemed important. Watson did not testify before the grand jury. Quote, we led our submissions to you on our client's behalf as our presentation to the grand jury, Hardin told Stallings. Attorney Tony Buzbee, who represents the 24 women who have sued Watson in civil court, 8 of whom made criminal complaints, 8 women made criminal complaints here, posted a statement on Tuesday night criticizing the extent to which Hardin and the prosecutor communicated. Quote, just so there's no confusion, Buzbee said on Instagram, I personally contacted the Harris County DA's office one time on behalf of the victims to make available to her my clients and the evidence I had collected. My team also did so. They wouldn't even talk to us. Wow, that's crazy. I have no idea that the assistant district attorney was regularly corresponding with Deshaun Watson's lawyer by email and text. I didn't know that the assistant district attorney actually went to Rusty Hardin's office to discuss the cases. I didn't know that Watson's lawyer provided a PowerPoint that was used before the grand jury. I didn't know, but now I know after speaking to an investigating officer under oath that the police investigation team was convinced that Watson had committed more than 10 sexual crimes. Listen to this. The investigating officer under oath that the police investigation team was convinced Watson had committed more than 10 sexual crimes, or that the ADA has prevented investigating officers from talking to women who filed lawsuits but had not filed criminal complaints. And what I do know is of the multiple criminal complainants in Houston, only one was asked by the ADA to appear in front of a grand jury, even though the other victims were standing by to do so. As a taxpayer, and more importantly, as an advocate for these women, I feel, quote, hometowned by my own hometown and duped. I think the public and all interested were duped as well. Makes you wonder, thank God for the civil justice system. So he's just coming right out and saying, Deshaun Watson, it looks like, was possibly done a solid by the Harris County DA. I find that very interesting. It's something we were talking about months and months ago on this channel. Had he been given a break, possibly in today's political climate, by anybody in Harris County, criminally. Again, I read to you, investigating officer under oath that the police investigation team was convinced that Watson had committed more than 10 sexual crimes. Holy shit. Hardin puts too much weight on the decision of 2 grand juries not to indict Watson. The truth very well could be that Stallings knew that the level of attention Hardin was devoting to pre-grand jury process was just a glimpse of what she would have to endure if Watson were indicted, and if Stallings then had to develop proof beyond a reasonable doubt for cases that boil down to a series of conflicting versions of events between 2 people and no witnesses. Common sense suggests she simply didn't want to pick a fight that she was convinced she'd lose, with Watson being able to afford Hardin and his team of lawyers who would aggressively defend Watson in every case and drain the resources and test the skills of Stallings and her staff. Stallings may have decided it wasn't worth spinning the wheels and eventually experiencing an acquittal after acquittal based on the reality that reasonable doubt is much easier to conjure when the evidence is limited to the testimony of a single witness who would inevitably would face a withering cross-examination from a skilled litigator like Hardin. And so, instead of exercising her broad discretion to, as the saying goes, indict a ham sandwich, Hardin apparently made a more measured and balanced presentation aimed at nudging the grand jury away from biting off more than she was willing or able to chew. In the end result, no indictment. All things considered, arguably no surprise. So, wow, we just found out that the investigating police officer believed he absolutely did commit these crimes, but the DA did not want to pursue it in Harris County out of the idea, possibly, always got to use those words, that they didn't want to tangle with Rusty Hardin, the lawyer, because she didn't know if she could beat him. I don't know if I can beat this lawyer, so we just let this guy go scot-free of any charges, even though we have the police saying, yeah, we believe there's some real wrongdoing here. I don't want to pick that fight. Let's go the other way. And we're finding out that Watson essentially got some home cooking. The DA wasn't interested in talking to the victim's attorney or the office of the attorney of the victims. Buzbee just said it. Essentially, Watson was done a solid by Harris County, in his opinion. He got screwed, Buzbee did, in his own hometown. Wow. Jesus. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Black and White Network supporters, make sure you check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. Link in the description. Use promo code USA First, all one word. USA First, all one word. 25% off now.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.